Welcome back to In the Works, the podcast. I am Laura Francesca, your host, and in this week episode, we're going to be talking about frustration and how to increase our tolerance to it. So let's get into it. So let's talk about frustration. That gritty, heavy feeling that creeps in when we are trying to do everything right, but anything is working out. When we are trying to stay calm, stay focused, stay disciplined, but we still feel inside like screaming, disappearing, or quitting that dream project we have been working on. Frustration isn't a flaw, it is feedback. It is your nervous system saying that you are at your edge, and that's a good thing because there's where transformation begins. Most people don't make it past this point. They numb, they scroll, they quit, they self-sabotage, not because they're weak, but because no one have teach them how to shift their fire. This episode is here to change that. We're going to explore what really frustration is, how it is a sign that you have a lot of fire inside you that can be shifted towards building your dream life, how to increase your tolerance to frustration so you can lead, build, train, create, and live from a place of power, even when things feel messy. So let's get into it. What really frustration looks like? Frustration doesn't always look loud. Sometimes it looks like silence, numbness, and a kind of heaviness that sits on your chest since the moment you wake up. It can look like sitting in front of the computer but just staring at it. It can look like crying after doing everything right but that thing is still not working out. Or sitting in the gym car park without getting in. It sounds like, why is this so hard for me? What is the point of trying again? Or am I delusional because I believe that this could work? Frustration can make you feel like you're stuck, but in truth, it is proof that you are in motion. Friction only exists when something is moving, and this moment is a really pivotal moment because it's where 90% of the population almost always walks away, but it is where the true legends are born. Frustration is just energy without direction. And let me reframe this for you so you can get to understand a little bit better. Frustration is energy, and it is that raw, potent fuel, but without direction, it implodes. Think of a rocket ship. It is under insane pressure, explosive force, but with a structure and targeting. It breaks gravity, it can ascend, and the same with you. On channel, frustration can become anxiety, doubt, and comparison. But when you choose to channel these and shift that frustration, you can turn that into discipline, creativity, and momentum, innovation as well. So I want you to take a second and ask yourself, where is your frustration trying to take you? What is this stressful moment trying to show you? What is that new standard your higher self is calling you to rise into? Most people decide to quit here. This is the drop off point. The phase where everything gets messy, where nothing feels clear, but you're showing up, you are doing the work, but somehow everything feels like is resisting you. There is no flow, nothing is working out. Life is like really testing your patience. This is the moment where your nervous system is screaming, run, escape, numb, distract, and hide. But I want you to understand how sacred is these uncomfortable moments for your growth. It's the fire that forges you and forces you to become your better, best version of yourself. The exceptionals aren't the ones who avoid this, they are the ones who stay awake inside it, the ones who keep moving through the fog while others are quitting because they are not in the perfect conditions. Let me tell you how this looked like for me this morning. I woke up sore, exhausted. My legs were really sore from this week's training. Today, Sunday, was the day 6 out of 6 days of training, and I had an interval run to go for. I had a full day ahead after the run, work stack, a podcast, a film, assignments for uni to do. And I could feel these excuses lining up in my head since the moment I opened my eyes in the morning. I was like, I might need a rest day. Or surely I can skip today's training. I have already trained the whole week. Or I didn't have my watch with me. So I was like, you forgot your watch anyways. So why bother? But I went without my watch, without the motivation, and I showed up with everything but not readiness. That's the part no one talks about, the unsexy part. Sometimes your highest self doesn't show up in glory, but it shows up in this real grit. And then, let's say that I sat down to record this episode, and of course, there's always noise, tech issues, background chaos. Part of me thought I should put this to another day. But another part that I have already trained said, I'm going to do this regardless of what's going on. And you know what it reminds me of? This book that I recently read, that is called The Slight Edge. It is about all the small actions that you take in your everyday life. How you act when nobody's watching, how you treat yourself, and how you show up for the things that you say that you're gonna do. And how these little actions are the ones that actually shift your life, mainly because the compound interest of like doing them over time, it's what creates the person you become. I took this quote from the book that says that how you do anything is how you do everything, and I love it because it's mainly from something as simple of how you show up for yourself in a daily basis, how you speak to yourself when you fail at something, how you hold your boundaries even when it's not convenient. That quiet integrity across all the areas of your life is what makes you become the very best version of yourself, that version of yourself that you dream about. Sometimes success looks like walking through your front door, if starving after a long day, and realizing that the fridge is empty. The easy, quick thing to do will be maybe ordering Uber Eats, postpone your groceries, and just say that you're gonna leave it for another day. But instead, you choose to hold your stress for a little while, decide to go do your groceries, and come back to cook a nourishing meal that actually aligns with your habits and with the person that you want to become. In that quiet integrity of those small acts of the everyday life is where success is built. All these little actions are what is gonna lead you to take all those big actions when something really big come. It's the integrity of like how you do these little things and how you apply them to all the really big things in your life. I will say that's how the real self leadership and self alignment looks like. But it can also looks like catching yourself through an Instagram scroll and decide to go journal instead. Because in the scroll, you are comparing yourself to strangers, you are maybe in that loop of like why others have and I don't, and you just spiral and spiral the more you scroll. But what if you instead really like try to close the app and do something else instead, like journaling or taking a little second to breathe in, breathe out, and actually ask yourself, what is that thought or what thing that I'm avoiding and I'm just procrastinating on? The future you isn't built through consumption. She's built through conscious, quiet, repeated actions. And this is the messy middle. And it's not a stop sign. It is the real strength test of how much can you control these thoughts that come to you, or how much can you control this necessity of dopamine, of a quick TikTok dopamine scroll, and how you choose to not do those things, and how over time all these things compound. Clarity isn't a prerequisite for progress, but commitment is. So now that we have talked about what's frustration, I want us to talk about how to train frustration tolerance. So let's get practical, because this is not just about good vibes and affirmations, but you actually need to take action towards this to master it like anything in your life. You gotta do the things that feel unsexy, the things no one claps for, and the things that most people avoid. Because everyone wants to be exceptional, but nobody wants to be the exception. It looks like early mornings when your bed is warm, but your vision and dreams are louder. Friday nights working on that project instead of going out, or Sunday sunrises spent doing cold plunges instead of sleeping in. That's where the fire is forged. That's where your nervous system really learns, I can feel discomfort and I can still go forward. I can cope with it. I can manage this. For me, it looks like something as simple as ending my showers with a 60 quick second of a cold shower that it's so uncomfortable, especially when it's winter and it's cold and it's early in the morning and the last thing that you want to do is a cold shower. You do it because it kind of like teach you how to manage the resistance, but not because you love it. You're not gonna ever love it. It feels really uncomfortable. But as I said, it teaches you how to breathe through that resistance, how to cope with it, how after a few seconds it doesn't feel as uncomfortable as before. And then you do it 1 or 2 weeks and it will still feel really uncomfortable. But after 3 or 4 weeks, you get to second 20 of that cold shower and you're like, well, actually, this is not too bad. I am maybe starting to like it. And that's with everything. A second technique is the I did it anyway lock. So for this, you need a journal or a paper, and at the end of your day, maybe writing a few things that you did anyway through your day without wanting to do it. So some examples can feel like I didn't feel like going for that run after work, but I did it anyway. I wanted to eat out, but I decided to stick to my diet. I didn't feel like studying, but I decided to open the book regardless. I didn't feel like having that hard conversation, but I called and decided to be vulnerable anyways. I didn't feel like journaling, but I did half a page. Or I didn't feel like recording today, but I showed up for this anyways. And this is how you teach your body and your mind to rely on identity and not mood. To rely in your values and in your integrity and the person that you want to become, and not let your day be run by your mood. You stop needing motivation and you start trusting the discipline that you have. Third technique will be frustration reframe ritual. So this is mainly like next time everything feels heavy, I want you to say out loud, this is power and I'm just learning how to hold it. I'm just learning how to manage the pressure. Then go for a walk, move, try to lift something, journal, create, and use that stress as fuel for creativity and doing something that actually benefits you instead of just like spiraling down. Another thing that I love doing is like this micro adversity training that is like putting yourself in a really uncomfortable situation for a large period of time. So it doesn't need to be like 5 hours, but it can be as simple as choosing to go for that 60-minute run without music, to just listen to your thoughts, listen to those things that you have been avoiding the whole week, or just simply be in the quiet presence of the world, listening to the trees, listening to what's going on around you, smiling to strangers, and being fully present in what you're doing, and not just having your headphones 100% with your music. This actually gives you the power to stop for a second, and while you're running, you're able to process those things that you have been avoiding, because we all do. We all choose to, if we feel sad, scroll on Instagram, listen to music, do something else, and just avoid all these feelings until they become so big that it's already like chaos after, like you will explode just after this. But why like we need to wait until this happen to actually take a second to breathe in and breathe out and recognize what we're feeling. Recognize that anxiousness, recognize that you're sad, recognize that you can be frustrated, or at the same time, you're gonna have those days where you get to really like be like, oh my God, I'm running without headphones, but it's super sunny. Strangers are smiling at me today. My legs feel amazing. This feels with so much ease, and I'm really proud of myself. It can be going 24 hours without social media, or actually just allowing certain times of your day to go through social media, or simply starting a vulnerable conversation with someone that you have been avoiding. These are the reps. Tiny doses of stress that are building your emotional strength. And then the fifth one will be celebrating yourself and not the outcome. Every week, I like to do this on Sundays when I'm resetting for the new week. I like to ask myself, what did I attempt this week that scared me? Not what you nail, but what you face it. And acknowledging that trying actually counts, that showing up counts. That's how you build the grit. This is how you become unshakable, not by avoiding the fire, but by walking through it and realizing that it didn't burn you, but it helped you to become your better, best version. So, to close this episode, I want you to carry I want you to carry these little thoughts through your week. I want you to, next time you face frustration, you choose to actually unconsciously decide to pause, step back, and breathe. Take a moment if it's necessary, and I want you to ask yourself, how would the version of me that it's already living my dream life will handle this moment? How does she speak to herself? How does she speak to people? How does she show up for herself even when no one is watching? How does she cope with stressful moments? Is she numbing the discomfort with distractions and complaints? Or is she out there choosing the challenge, choosing the grit, choosing the stress that builds? Because yes, life will always include stress, but you get to choose your stress. Are you gonna cope by sitting in front of your computer, drinking a beer, and just complaining about what's not going right? Or are you gonna choose to go for that run without headphones to actually think about solutions? Both stress your body, but some, like, one is good and the other one not so much. And how are you responding to these moments? That's the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. You can literally choose through every action and every situation that goes through your day, no matter how small or how big. How do you want to behave? How do you want to show up for others when no one is watching? How you wash the dishes, how you put cream in your skin, and how you go through your days with so much more intention. I want you to act in all those little areas of your life as the person that is already with your dream job, dream partner, dream career, and just show up as that person. Embrace, imagine you're already that person and how she will show up in everything. I send you all the love and light your heart can hold, and I send you so much clarity and wisdom to take everything from this episode. And if everything resonated with you, I want you to also share it with someone that you think that might be needing it as well. With so much love and light, I will see you next week. loud.